Alright, hello citizens of the Nigelverse, it's Nigel here once again, and welcome back to the Labyrinth. So, I got some poems for you guys, some ones that I think are pretty interesting. One that is a bit nsfw, not safe for work, so be warned on that, but otherwise some pretty interesting ones. And that poem that I'm going to read is still, I think, interesting to analyze and talk about, but without further ado, let's get right into it, starting with this first poem. And for those of you who've seen Dixie's Tales from the Labyrinth before, welcome back, and you already know how this works, but for those of you who haven't, welcome, and I'm going to be reading 5 poems, 3 for myself, and 2 from other poets. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So this first one is called Raining. It's raining again, and this may disappoint some, as outside opportunities are postponed, but not me. As the plants get some water, the rain is calming and soothing to listen to, and people play in the rain, so perhaps not all is bad. And I think it's between rainfall right now outside, as I'm recording this, but rain is not always a bad thing, I would argue. I know a lot of people equate to a bad thing because the sky gets all gloomy and everything, but also you can't really do a whole lot outside, at least not without like a rain jacket or things like that. But playing outside and stuff like that for the younger children is not necessarily ideal, because they can slip and slide on the grass and everything and get hurt. But otherwise, rain it waters the plant. And there are some people who actually like being outside in the rain, and some children who like being outside in the rain. And some stuff can still be done in the rain. And if you're inside, like me, at least right now, then you just chill out. The rain will definitely put you to sleep. They have, the videos on YouTube of just rainfall that people listen to and helps them sleep. I've tried listening to that at sometimes to fall asleep, but it doesn't really work for me. If anything, it made my sleep worse. Probably because it wasn't like natural. Well, like from outside, it was on a video, so I had to wear my headphones the entire time. I'm for the ideal viewing experience, and obviously it'd be cut off my alarm, so I'd probably be anxious or something like that, just waiting for the alarm amidst all the rainfall. I think that's just me though, but I know some people, they use it to help them sleep and everything. But so rainfall, it may have its downsides, but it also has its benefits. And this next poem is called Ignorance of Children. I sometimes envy the ignorance of children, who do not know yet the pain and horrors of the world, and the struggles they will face, allowed to just be children, without a care in the world, not yet aware of the horrors they will face, evils and vices, racism and prejudice. All they know is play and their youthful perceptions. And so, when I talk about ignorance here, it's not in the negative connotation. Oftentimes, ignorance has like the negative connotation, but that's usually for like older people who should know better, but don't really. But ignorance here I'm going more on its base definition, which is lack of knowledge of something. And in this case, children, they don't really know yet how bad the world truly is. Sadly, because a lot of stuff is on the news, because they will obviously find out eventually, and some kids are learning younger and younger because of how much access there is to the internet, but also sadly, with a lot of children, there are things that happen in their younger childhood that is traumatic and does shape them in a lot of ways, not always for good, but otherwise children don't really know. And for the time being, until they're ready, we should keep it that way. Children growing up too fast, that's just gonna ruin them. Let children be children for the time being. Obviously, as they get older, they will bear more responsibilities and learn more about the world around them. But for now, let children be children. Let children play as children, and they'll be happier for it. Obviously, when the time comes for them to learn about things going on in the world, they will. But otherwise, the children will grow up and say, "Man, I'm glad I had the childhood I did, even with the things going on around." A lot of stuff that was traumatic that kind of happened while I was younger, I didn't learn about until I was older. or sadly I don't really have too much recollection of. But if I did hit, I was kind of an emotional kid at times, so I probably would have been super upset about it. But growing up, as I got older and learned about it, I was like, wow, that really happened, around when I was younger. That's insane to think about. But nevertheless, this next one is called Different Than You. Would you hate me for being different than you? For having a different walk and talk? For wearing different clothing? For having different hair and a different smile? For having different skin and a different background? Would you hate me for being different? Or were you told that you should? And so, and kind of speaking of like the racism and prejudice, is the differences is a lot of us are unique. In fact, all of us are unique. I'd even say we all come from different. We all come in different shapes and sizes, from different backgrounds, different lifestyles, different nationalities, these different racial and ethnic background, different interests. It's different things like that. We're all different and unique in our own individual way. And I feel that this is admittedly both kind of obvious, but also wishful thinking. And we should all be embraced for our differences. The things that make us different should still unite us, not divide us fully. But oftentimes they do, and oftentimes people are hated for their differences. Is whether it's racism or lack of understanding. And oftentimes it happens where because you're different than me, that automatically makes you an enemy. Now there are some things that aren't okay. Such as killing people or wanting to harm people. Well, obviously that's bad. But otherwise, differences of opinions on different things. As much hatred as there is for things like that, it's ridiculous. But nevertheless, this next poem is called Hope, and this is by Langston Hughes. Sometimes when I'm lonely, don't know why, keep thinking I won't be lonely by and by. And I think we talked about a poem like this last week. He from Robert Creeley about loneliness, but sometimes loneliness happens, and sometimes you feel alone and you feel isolated, and you wish for it to go away. And if you want to shrug it off, as I feel like a lot of us often try to, it's difficult to shrug off. But here, Langston Hughes is expressing hope. He's holding on to hope that things will change, that he won't be lonely anymore, or that someone will come in and eventually make him not lonely anymore and find companionship. But I will also say, it's better to be lonely and alone than with a companion or a significant other that will bring nothing but misery to your life and try to drag you down. It's better that you're alone as opposed to being hurt by a significant other. But and that is intentionally, of course. But this last one, and this is the one that I have to put in the nsfw warning because it does get a little intense at times. And this one is To You from Your Secret Admirer, and this is by Sharon Olds. I love the conversations we have after making love. Of course, it's just me making love to myself, talking to you, loving you, though I do not really know you, so I guess not loving you, craving the dream of knowing you. When will I be able to scream with it? When will I be able to scream with you? I moan. I am screaming. I am screaming. I moan, very quiet. Afterwards, breathing in the fragrance on my fingers, I tell you that I love the smell with a tender love. It is so sweet, so nectar, as I've loved with a strong love the smell of semen, with those working animals in it, those snapping, ripping tails. I want to go with you somewhere I have not been, and just lie in a bed for days, sometimes eat, sometimes swim. I am so tired of not looking at you. I want to gaze at you with a day-long gaze. The barrier's down, the doors off their hinges. After coming and coming, as if with you, I miss you more. I want you here. I want you hour and hour in my line of sight. I want to sing with you, to dance with you, and sleep with you in the still show dote and show do of the night. Um, very interesting, and like I said, intense at some points, but what we see here is a very intense desire. So, Sharon here, it may be her, or it may be someone else entirely that Sharon's just writing about. It may not specifically be her, or more so from a third person point of view, who, as poets often do, I've even done it quite a few times myself. But the narrator here, or has a very intense desire and love for this person that she's talking about, to the point where she is touching herself, thinking about this person, and she has such she has such a desire and love for this person that that's all she thinks about. That's all she that's really all she pretty much all she thinks about. How all she desires, all she wants is this person. She wants this person in her life, to be able to touch and to grab and to hold and do all those things. Having a really massive desire for this person, and judging from the way this poem had judging from the way this poem is set up, one could come to the conclusion that perhaps these two at least have met face to face before, or this may not necessarily be someone that is a complete stranger. Now, there's a very real chance that this could be a complete stranger, but there's a chance that these two have met before, but not really in a relationship sort of setting. Maybe they are in a relationship, and she's the narrator is feeling lonely not being with that person, and interesting way to go about this, and some may see it as somewhat creepy and a bit of evading boundaries. Like, wow, you touch yourself to me. Like, if someone came up to you and said that they touched themselves to you, you'd definitely be creeped out a little bit. But I don't think the intention of the poem was to be creepy. I think it's more so to show a very intense, very visceral love of or maybe not necessarily visceral, but maybe an intense and very out there, very desirable, I really want you type of love. I think is the message that this poem is getting across, and for the most part, it does that job. We can tell that this narrator really wants the person that she's talking about. But nevertheless, that is going to do it for this episode. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do me a favor: like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, turn on post notifications so you know every time I upload a video, so you can see as soon as it drops. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts on the poems and my analysis. Did you dislike the poems? Did you dislike my analysis of the poems? And what's your analysis of each poem and your thoughts on each poem? But thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you guys later. Peace.